mind. You know, you have a place here on the network. You know, we're going to lose at the network at that time millions of dollars over the years. And back then I was making hardly any money. And he said, you know, you would get that, but he goes, I respect that. And he goes, so I'll lose millions, you're going to lose millions. Because I just hit the zeitgeist. I had just gone from like 20 stations to over 100. It was boom, spreading all over the country because it was hardcore libertarian. The right-wingers liked it. But I came out and spoke bad about their god, George Bush. And I didn't even say he did it all. I just said, look, the government's running Al-Qaeda. They let them attack us bare minimum. And I'm proud of that. And it's just like I'm proud of what you've done. But then I only got bigger down the road. But then it only gets scarier because then it's not even about being on the air or being famous. It is all about the struggle for reality and trying to find that truth. I think that's what you're saying. It's not that we're perfect or always right. We want the truth, and we have goodwill towards others. I think we're talking about the philosophy of those of us that want to be free.
Well, I think it goes back to your question of what do I think is going to happen, and this is where it gets into a very tricky juncture. We have to see what's happening, but at the same time, we have to be able to kind of step back and look at the larger narrative at play. If there are nefarious forces in the world, they are willing to use our humanity against us. They are basically sociopathic. They don't care that babies die somewhere in the middle of some desert. They don't care, that kids are taking vaccines with horrible things in them. They don't care about the rise in autism rate. They're willing to do whatever, however. I mean, they've proven that again and again and again. So this is where we cannot get sucked into these false moral arguments. Those arguments are important, like in talking recently about some of the things that have gone on, the protests that are happening post, is it Mr. Garner was the man's name?
Yes.
That was choked.
Terrible.
And then it's a horrible situation, and then what happened in Ferguson. And you get in these discussions, like I said, around the dinner table, and people think that you're unsentimental or unfeeling, and no, these are horrible. Of course there's injustice in the inner cities, of course. Does that mean every cop's the bad guy? You say it all the time. I know lots of great cops. I know lots of great cops who are family people that would never do these things. Does that mean every cop's good or bad? No. We have to judge every person on their moral character. I'm, somewhat friendly with the police chief of the Chicago Police Department, Gary McCarthy. Incredible man. Incredible man. I watch where he grieves over every situation because he's a man. He's a father. He cares. Does it mean just because he puts on the uniform, does he mean he's a bad guy? I mean, what about our soldiers? Are all our soldiers bad? Absolutely not. This narrative that's spun out all of a sudden we got to be afraid of the soldiers. I'll take a soldier over anybody, any day.
Exactly. They've tried to dumb it down to the opposite of what Martin Luther King said, judge people on their deeds and what they stand for, what you just said. And then if you don't support all the rioting or whatever, you support the First Amendment but not rioting, then you're bad. If you don't say kill the cops randomly, well, I don't want to be killed randomly. I don't want to see the blacks killed just because they're black or whites killed. I mean, it just comes down to civilization and basic common sense. Now, Billy, let's talk about your album. We just downloaded it the other day from your site, smashingpumpkinsnexus.com. I can't wait to listen to the whole thing. And I'm not just saying this. I love all your albums. And I really love your old stuff. This has a lot of the old sound, but even better lyrics. I think this is almost like classic Smashing Pumpkins 2.0. Everybody should go there. How do people get the record?
It's on all the typical Illuminati systems. It's easy to find. That's not the issue. But thank you so much for that.
Well, sure. I mean, it's in the stores. It's on CD. It's downloaded at iTunes. Folks can go find those links at smashingpumpkinsnexus.com. How do people support you? I guess they come to the big shows. They spread the word. I mean, how do they do that?
That's a difficult one because there is the commerce, which is important. But honestly, it's more the street cachet. And that's what I'm saying is, if not me, please find artists that you support, retweet them, share them with your friends. The artists are the bulwark. There's a reason most totalitarian regimes kill the artist second.
Of course.
They kill the weakest first, and then they go after the strongest, which are the artists, because they are the X factor. They're the voice in the wilderness that can point out the obvious, like, hey, look at that over there, and they can do it in a very clever way. If Jesus spoke in parables, so can we. And it's very powerful. Music, as you know, penetrates, typical stuff. which is why I'm able to go to countries where people don't even speak English and play music and communicate. It's music of the heart.
Sure.
And I'm blessed to, 25 plus years here and going. Still strong.
Billy
Corgan.
Corgan.
Stronger than ever.
Billy Corgan's our guest, SmashingPumpkinsNexus.com. Retweet that, put it on Facebook, folks. The establishment's scared of him, and anybody the system's scared of, you better know we need to get behind, because they promote terrorist groups, they fund Al-Qaeda, they fund all these radical groups, they get caught funding the Klan, they get caught funding radical racist black groups. They want us all killing each other, just like one of the singers that he just mentioned from Jamaica said, they want to see us go on killing one another, top ranking. And that's, of course, Bob Marley. We're almost out of time. I'm going to let you go so you can get that plane or get on down the road, Billy. I hope you'll come down to Austin soon and come in studio. Maybe I'll come up and see you in Chicago. But I really know your interviews here resonate with everybody. Again, one more time, the new album. Tell us what the name of the album means, Monuments to an Elegy. What's that mean?
Oh, I don't know, Alex. These things come out of my brain sideways. I don't know.
Well, it sounds cool. I'm just wondering if there was some inside baseball to that.
To me, it's a bit of a kind of a wave goodbye to what people thought the band was, and I'm just trying to move on into the future. And thankfully, with people like you, new media like you, creating these new systems, I'm able to speak freely and speak to an audience, and just look, try to find like-minded souls. We have to build these new systems. You are. And I'm trying to do the same. We have to build basically systems that are stronger than these systems of propaganda and control, and we will survive, and we will succeed.
Well, it's happening, and as you said, we need to support artists, whether it was in Nazi Germany or whether it was in any other totalitarian regime, Pol Pot, Khmer Rouge. They would kill 95% of the artists, even ones that served them. They didn't like having them around. They were scared of them because that beauty, that touching people through music, through art, through images, that communication of archetypes that artists have innately. Don't even know what you're doing. You just do it, and it reaches people. They are scared of that, and that's what the tyrants are, is little men behind the curtain who want to run the whole show and really, I guess, don't feel loved or liked. They feel rejected, so they want to dominate. Billy, I'll say bye to you during the break. 20-second final comment.
Just God bless everyone. Just keep fighting. Keep the faith.
I got to say, the new album is amazing. It sounds like old stuff you've done, but stuff I've never heard before. I mean, as you said, you've gone to the next level with the new album, and a Monument to Elegy available.